good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time you're listening to this, thank you for tuning in and taking time to be with yourself. My name is Jess, and I just want to connect with you right now, right here. I wanted to remind you today to affirm beautiful things, strong things to yourself. To remember that we are constantly telling ourselves affirmations in our mind, whether we acknowledge it or not. Subconsciously, whether we make a mistake, whether something is dragging on from the day before, whether something has been unresolved since we were born, or even before we were born. I want to remind you the importance of affirmations, of purposely telling yourself that you can do it, that you are powerful, that you are stronger today than you were yesterday. Maybe it's not linear. Maybe some days are worse than the day before. But we are being pulled back like an arrow to be projected into something we cannot even foresee in this moment in time. I am enough. I am worthy. I am loved. I am safe. Say this to yourself over and over until you believe it. If it's uncomfortable, keep saying it. If you don't feel it, keep saying it. If you do feel it, keep saying it. Why? Because we tell ourselves the most horrible things over and over and over on a repeat, and we don't even realize. I read somewhere that we have like 60,000 thoughts a day. Out of those 60,000 thoughts a day, how many of those thoughts are good? Do you know? Are you aware? Are you conscious? I want you to give yourself an exercise. And for one day, just analyze. Analyze every time you tell yourself something negative. Every time you tell yourself, I can't. Every time you tell yourself that you hate yourself. Every time you give yourself limiting beliefs or limiting thoughts. Just track them. Put a little check mark on a notepad or write it down on your phone. See for yourself. When I first started to change my thoughts, because I was really into Joe Dispenza, and I was so amazed how our thoughts turn into our feelings. Our feelings turn into our actions, and our actions create the life that we're living. I wanted to test it. I wanted to see if I really changed my thoughts, would my life be different? If I really proactively made an effort to listen to affirmations, would I feel different? Would I think differently? Would I treat other people differently? And then I put it into action. It was so life-changing for me just doing this. I can remember like it was yesterday, getting in my car, driving to work. I worked at Kaiser, and I was listening to affirmations on the way to work every morning. because I wouldn't really tell myself these positive things. I mean, maybe like, yeah, I love myself, but just kind of as a concept, not as an action, not like I was telling myself every day, I am important, I am amazing, I am beautiful, I am worthy. I wasn't actively doing that, and I don't think a lot of people actively do that on a daily basis to a point that it lights up their subconscious to the point that they actually believe these things to their core. So I started doing it, and first I started analyzing all of the bad thoughts that I had in my mind every day. All of the I cans, all of the limiting beliefs that I had. And it was a lot. It was a lot to take on. And I did it every day for 3 months. At first, it was me just stopping the negative thoughts. Every time I had one, I would acknowledge it, and I would acknowledge where that was coming from, and then I would dismiss it. And after I dismissed it, I would replace it with an equal and opposite thought, a positive one. So if I said, I can't go to the gym in the morning at 5:30 because I'm too tired, I questioned, well, why am I too tired? Or am I just being lazy? No, Jess, I have to go to the gym. Okay. When I said to myself, I'm not beautiful, where is that coming from? Am I comparing myself to others? Am I not liking what am I wearing? Am I not liking my makeup? Am I not seeing the person that I really am on the inside? Am I just judging a moment in time of how I look in the mirror because I want to look better? I want to be in better shape? I acknowledged the why, and I dismissed it. And I told myself, I am beautiful. I am powerful. My body is strong. I'm getting through these intense-ass workouts. I'm worthy. So I replaced the thought with an equal and opposite thought. And I had to do this with every single thought. So you can imagine how my day was in my mind, just kind of fighting myself all day long and acknowledging these thoughts that I would have creeping in, and then acknowledging why, and then immediately replacing it with something completely different and better. And this took months. Maybe it won't take months for you, but it took months for me because I wasn't used to saying such good things to myself. And after 3 months of doing this, my life started to change so drastically. I started to believe in myself. I started to treat others with kindness. I didn't need anyone to tell me anything to feel good. I can just tell myself something to feel good. I can affirm to myself that I am worthy, that I am capable, that I am love. So, I want you to do that today. I want you to be kind to yourself. You are worthy. You are loved. You are capable. We are always telling ourselves affirmations in our mind, whether we are aware of it or not. And it's up to you to decide whether you want to change your thoughts. It's up to you to decide whether you want to tell yourself something new. It's up to you to decide whether you want to feel good today because you can make yourself good today, not because of anybody else. Look at yourself in the mirror. Say, I look good. I feel good. Sometimes we gotta be it till we become it. Sometimes we don't feel good. Sometimes we feel like shit. And sometimes we just want to be honest to ourselves and say, I feel not so good today. But if you were like me, and if you aren't used to telling yourself these things, then you don't even realize how much your life can change into a positive direction by doing that. Because the moment I said, I can do a business, I can start a business on my own, is the moment that I started to believe it. Maybe not the first time, maybe not the second time, maybe not the third time, but saying it to myself over and over, and saying to myself that I am courageous, and saying to myself that I am not just full of fear, saying to myself that I trust myself. Those things sometimes need to be said out loud, because every inch of our body is listening. Every time you say a negative thought to yourself, your body is listening, and we are energy. If we want to have a good energy, we need to give ourselves good energy. And that includes the vibration of what we're saying. You know that science experiment of saying good things to plants and saying bad things to plants? And the plant that gets the affirmations and the love and the good words stays full and bright and vibrant, and then the plant that gets all of the hateful words and demeaning messages dies. Well, we're like that plant. And if we constantly tell ourselves we are incapable, we are tired, we don't want to do it, then eventually we're going to believe those thoughts. Those thoughts are going to control our life. So let's spend today being more gentle. Let's spend tonight saying to ourselves all of the things that we're not used to. Treating ourselves with love, with respect, with integrity. You know, another exercise that helped me with this was looking at a picture of myself when I was a little girl. And if I said to myself, to that little girl in the picture, some of the things that I say to myself in my mind, I wouldn't be able to do it. Sometimes I say the most nastiest things to myself in my mind, and if I said them out loud to that little girl, I couldn't do it. So why would I do that to myself? There's a difference of being honest with ourselves and telling ourselves where we need to improve. That's different. That's still a form of love. That's being honest. That's saying, Jess, I'm not doing my best today. I need to step up. But that's not being demeaning. That's not putting myself down. That's not talking nasty. That's not putting negative energy into my body. That's propelling me to do better. And that's okay. I'm not saying to tell yourself false things. I'm just saying to come at yourself with love and compassion, and to believe a little bit more than what you're believing right now. Because when we start believing that we can accomplish our dreams, when we tell ourselves You want to start a business? I want to start a business. I can be a business woman and I can take it on. Then we believe it. And the actions in our day are in alignment with someone who wants to start a business. We don't cut corners. We move with integrity. We do those little things at work that other people won't do. We move different. Just like we make an effort to go to the gym and get in a workout and do it over and over and train our body so that we can see results. But the results don't come after one workout. They come after repetition. So if we aren't already telling ourselves these affirming beliefs of positivity and love, our body isn't going to know. Our body isn't going to truly feel it. You remember Newton's first law of motion states that every object will remain at rest or in uniform motion in a straight line unless compelled to change its state by the action of an external force. Our mind is the same way. If we aren't getting that external force inside of our mind to change it, nothing is going to change, and we're going to remain with the same thoughts over and over. And that's why affirmations are important for me, because it gives me other ideas and thoughts and ways of thinking and affirming in my mind that I wouldn't normally do. So let's start there. Let's start affirming things that we don't normally affirm, that may sound obvious or may sound unreal. And before you know it, it's going to feel real. It's going to feel possible. That's the message for today. Thank you for taking a little bit of time to be with me today. And love yourself a little bit more. Let's better our mind. Let's better our body. Let's better our spirit. And let's better on. Thank you guys. I love you.